There's history everywhere that you look. Just the stories that the people have told from the old home sites and the artifacts that they've left behind to the actual artifacts from the battle itself. And it's just a plethora of history.
We got interested in metal detecting like 2 years ago. We went to the public library, we rented out the metal detector for free, and we started out in our yards and we found some coins and a lot of pull tabs, that kind of stuff, but it got us hooked, and eventually we found our first bullet and we were hooked ever since. I was born and raised in Franklin. I've lived here my whole life. Lived in the same house. I've never lived anywhere else, but I love Franklin. It will always be my town. It's such a great small town. And we met my sophomore year of high school at Centennial, so it's been like 7 years and we've been together ever since.
We got engaged last year and we're planning our wedding, and we love history, so I wanted to make a historical background for the proposal. So I actually went to Carton Plantation and told her that we were going to take photos for my grandmother's wall to get her all dressed up and keep it a surprise. And I had a secret photographer there who captured the moment, and it was really cool to have that historical background, which we love, paired with our engagement. And it's actually the place that her parents got married as well. And I think they were the last civilians to be married in Carton Plantation that aren't of the family, which you have to be now to be married there. So
we're getting married in Leapers Fork. It's like 15 minutes from the downtown area. It's a really beautiful town. It's a family friend's farm from the 1700s. They have a cabin there, so it's actually historically significant too. So it all kind of pairs with what we really love.
These are some of our most treasured finds. There are a couple of Civil War buckles. Courtney is holding a CSA buckle that I found in downtown Franklin.
So the CSA actually stands for Confederate States of America, so obviously this would have been your southernmost states.
And here is a Union soldier's buckle, a U.S. buckle. And these are some of the most personal items from the Civil War that you can find, because a soldier wore this around his waist from everywhere that he went. Whether he joined the battle early on or if he joined later, this has been with him to hold all of his accoutrements on. And this is a very personal item because every single morning he would buckle this before he goes into battle, and to lose it is something special. And it's not as common as a bullet that were flying everywhere, so to find one of these is truly amazing. The Battle of Franklin happened on November 30th, 1864. Right here in the heart of downtown Franklin, where the Carter House is, was basically the main lines of the battle, and it outstretched from Carter's Creek Pike all the way down Lewisburg Pike, where Carton Plantation is. And there's many artifacts still left behind that are being uncovered from modern development and just through metal detecting in itself that still show the evidence of what happened here. And here are a few of the artifacts. This is an eagle breastplate from a Union soldier, and the eagle breastplate was actually worn on the chest on a strap that held the cartridge box that had all the ammunition in it. And that was found here at the Battle of Franklin. And we also have this United States bridle rosette that went on a saddle basically from a Union soldier as well. And Courtney is holding a sling buckle from the American Civil War that was found here in the Battle of Franklin, which actually was a gun strap buckle that a Union soldier would have worn as well. There was 8,500 casualties here at the Battle of Franklin, and it was a massive turning point because the Confederates lost this battle, which would turn the tides for the Battle of Nashville as well. And it was one of the bloodiest battles in the Civil War. Over by the Carter House, the streets ran red with blood, and there were so many people who died and perished that the bodies couldn't fall over, and they remained standing. And a lot of the soldiers are actually buried at Carton Plantation at the Confederate Cemetery, which you can visit here in Franklin.
We obviously do a lot of metal detecting, but we also bottle dig. So it's kind of a weird term. You probably don't know many people that do this, but we look for old trash pits and we find historical bottles that are really, really cool for Franklin. Like these ones in front of us are John Moran bottles. So Moran actually came before Gray's, because Gray's used to be like a pharmacy, and John Moran was actually the precursor to Gray's. And we have a couple of his original, probably turn of the century era cork top medicine bottles
Hey, you're
so
the bottle
it's
lover,
like
so.
super cool to be sitting here in Grays on Main. Like this is now a restaurant. You can come and eat here, and it's just really cool to be able to see these bottles and realize that it was a pharmacy for over 60 years.
So there's a lot of history there, just passing down that pharmacy legacy to the next family and whatnot. So it's super cool to see a tangible object left behind from that time.
Metal detecting is a wonderful hobby. It's super rewarding. It also really teaches you patience because you dig a lot of trash, but it makes the moments when you find something of historical significance so much better because you've worked so hard for that item and you get to save it, and you may not have ever, like, could have been 100 years and no one would have ever known that item was there, but getting to recover the item and bring light to it, and that item also tells a story, so you get to learn and like research, and it's really fun. So, and it gets you outside and get in the fresh air, so it has a lot of positives with it.
There's a lot of great resources out there like kellyco.com and other list of websites that you can go to buy a metal detector, but for permission's sake, you want to make sure that you start in your yard and ask your friends and family and neighbors for permission. And you don't want to just go out there and start swinging in somebody's yard or somebody's private land. There's a lot of legal consequences that come along with that that a lot of people don't realize when they start. So just make sure that you check your local laws and regulations and just ask for permission before you go out there. So. A lot of our finds we do keep, unless if the homeowner wants to save them for a museum or if they just want a private collection. A lot of the times people surprisingly don't want anything to do with it. They just love facilitating the opportunity to let us have fun. So we've been able to keep a lot of these bottles and buckles and bullets and all sorts of stuff. But every chance that we get to share that history with somebody who will treasure it, whether that's from their childhood home or their current home that they would love to share the history of Franklin with people who visit, we love to let them have that and just basically share that history so we don't hoard it all. As for selling artifacts, we don't sell anything that we find. We cherish everything, one, the amount of work that goes into it, but also the story that it tells, and flipping it for a quick dollar doesn't keep that history with that item, which is far more important than money and monetary value in our eyes. So we met Katie Shands while metal detecting here in downtown Franklin at a site that was being demolished for a new build. It's actually a company that my mom works for, their headquarters are going to go there. And as we were preserving artifacts for them, she kind of stumbled across us and asked us if she could interview us and learn more about what we do in our metal detecting and just our passion for history, and the rest was history.
Franklin's a great town. We're like 20 minutes south of Nashville, so Nashville is an amazing town too. So come 20 minutes south and you have Franklin, and it is beautiful. It is so historically significant. There are so many like antique buildings you can look at and definitely get your history fill. You can visit all of the Civil War sites in the area. They all have museums in their houses that you can tour and look at artifacts somewhat sort of like these that we have here. And there's beautiful shops on Main Street, amazing restaurants. There's all kinds of things, and not to mention the beautiful rolling hills of Middle Tennessee.
Some of my favorite places to visit in Franklin are West Main Street and 3rd and 4th Avenue South. There's a lot of beautiful homes that have great significance to the Battle of Franklin and just Franklin in general. Some of the people who owned shops here on Main Street also lived on those streets as well. And there's great places like the Factory, which have a lot of shops in it from local artisans and restaurants, as well as a significant part of Franklin's history of employment being the factory that produced stoves all over the United States. And there's so many beautiful places on the outskirts of Franklin as well, like Leaper's Fork and Bellevue, and just all sorts of places that you can get lost in the beauty.